welcome to TBH.
We're going to be talking about our life experiences and how we involve mindfulness with it.
We are one of the podcasts from the mindFULLme podcast series, and we're going to be uploading around every month.
We are so happy to have you here with us today. My name is Bianca.
My name is Tatiana.
And my name is Hillary.
So for today's episode, we kind of wanted to talk about how we all transition from high school into college as we are all first year college students. Me personally, Bianca, I went into the summer B term at the University of Florida, meaning that I had to leave right after graduation. I think I had 2 weeks before graduation. So, what do you guys think if we just explain how we felt and how we used mindfulness throughout the last few weeks of senior year to get over exams, to finish classes, to pack all our stuff in my case, or to get ready for either a summer job, to enjoy the last summer with your friends and family? How about you, Hillary?
Yeah, I was actually going to say something about it, to be honest. I personally had like a really rough junior year already because it was online. And I feel like everyone had that specific year really hard. So going back into school and as a senior was really overwhelming on its own. And out of all the people that would actually know about my experience during like senior year would actually be Bianca and Tati, because I spent a lot of time with them. And I do remember that like a lot of the times when we would get overwhelmed, then I would get a little anxious from just like being out there. All I would need to do is like get out of the situation and like breathe and just like talk to somebody. So that was definitely something that, especially when it came to the applications for school and dealing with all the academic rigors in hand with all of that, it was insane. I remember Bianca knows this for sure because she was one of the people that helped me mock when I was doing a mock trial in class. I literally stage fright. I was worrying about my applications for college and I couldn't and I had to leave.
I
And then Bianca,
remember we would sit in the courtroom for periods and
yes,
periods
yes,
trying to do
yes.
college applications. I
I
remember
was freaking
that.
out so hard and Bianca was the one that helped me. So that was, yeah, I remember. So it was harsh.
So how would you say you use mindfulness in that setting to, get yourself together, be able to get all the applications done? Because I know better than anyone that you applied to not only one school but plenty of schools. So how did you do that?
So at the moment itself, because there are like different parts of mindfulness, just like overall what you do every day for like long-term effects and short-term effects. At the moment of the story that I'm like telling you guys about, Bianca, like what she did, well, most of it was her actually. She was really kind. She like gave me a hug and everything, and she told me it's gonna be fine, don't worry about it. And she was like breathe and stuff, and so I did, and then I felt better a few minutes after, and then I just went back into it. But in the long term, it was really all about like figuring out how to manage your time and like remembering that if things don't go right, you can always keep trying and do some meditations from time to time in order to remind yourself that you are still there, even if your time may not make you feel that way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Well, I'm happy I was able to, help you through your college applications and we were able to mutually support each other. Because I mean, it was pretty tough for me too, especially with deadlines, having to do FAFSA, all those requirements that it's just like I need a break. But I like that we were able to space it out. Excuse me. I like that we were able to space it out and, support each other, do it together rather than sitting in your room, pulling your hair out and trying to do it all alone. And at the same time, we were both handling mindful me. We were both getting into figuring out when to have meetings for the clubs at the school chapter. So I feel like that helped thinking about bringing other people into mindfulness and spreading that. I think that was very helpful. How about you, Tati? How did you deal with applications?
Well, applications for me were really hard. I like you guys, I remember those days where we were all sitting together just trying to get them done as quickly as possible and also trying to figure out what schools to apply to, but on top of that, we all had another side of it was we all had all the extracurriculars that we do in order to try and get into these competitive schools and then also thinking of all the schoolwork we had and all I can remember is just desperately go like can't like I couldn't wait for all of our meetings just so we could have some time that I was like set aside that it felt like I was still it was like a guilty pleasure because we were at school so I knew it was something for school but at the same time I was able to use these mindfulness techniques and talk about them and share the struggles that I was having with everyone else. So definitely using the aromatherapy at night so I can get some sleep, even with being how stressed I was over all the applications. But it wasn't just the applications; it was accepting the applications, and and like actually figuring out where you wanted to go or kind of getting rejected from those schools that maybe hit a little too close to home. I know Hillary definitely understands that one.
Yes. Our podcast is about being honest and like how we deal with things, honestly. And the honest truth is, to get a little more personal. My dream school rejected me, right? And that moment, I remember I was one of the kids that tried to like do the video acceptance or whatever, like the reaction video. It was hard. I mean, I didn't really cry about it, but it did like hit my ego pretty hard. So I had to like reaffirm myself that I was still good enough to do great things, regardless of the outcomes that I was facing and well versus what I expected or hoped for. And I feel like that's something that sometimes we forget when like things go wrong. It's just reaffirming yourself of your true worth regardless of what other people or anything else say about you. So that's definitely something that Tati and I had to like talk about a lot because it was just so hard for us.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, you see that a lot senior year, a lot of even your friends that don't get into, the same schools, and you just have to deal with that and make sure your ego is not so high that you separate from your friends just because of the fact that you guys didn't get into the same school. So that's extremely important to support them and to be with them through the process, because we're all walking into a new chapter. Most of us are leaving home for the first time ever, and the roommate situation and all those things. I had a few friends that were having trouble with the roommate situation, and it sounded pretty tough because I mean it's a person that you're going to live with for a pretty long period of time. So I totally agree with the supporting and with the keeping mindfulness tools very close to you. If you need to take a step back from reality and just breathe and accept what's going on, then that is totally fine. I wanted to move into, let me see what you guys think about the last few weeks of high school. How did you deal with all these AP exams? Because it's not only dealing with the AP exams, it's dealing with the AP exams, knowing that you need the credit, knowing that there's no going back, knowing that these are the last few exams you're sitting for, and after that you graduate and you're off. Um, I can tell you guys a little bit about it. In my case, I was taking about 4 or 5 exams. I was pretty scared, not going to lie, because those were the credits that I needed the most for college. And I'm not I'm not the type of person that sorry, that does well with studying. I can't just sit down and study for hours and hours and get the content through my head. It has never worked for me. So I decided to watch a few videos, and it got to a point where I sat down, I looked at my computer, I looked at the time, and I told myself, I'm like, I am not going to learn now what I didn't learn or what that I don't remember from a whole entire year worth of class. So instead of being so hard on myself, I decided, okay, like just believe in yourself, review the main facts only, and then just go to sleep, get ready for tomorrow, have a nice breakfast. I not usually a breakfast person, but I'm like, this is a long exam, have a nice breakfast, and off to school we go, off to the exam we go. And I ended up doing pretty good in half of my exams. So it's not that I beat myself down for it. And at the end of the day, if you don't pass the exam, you don't get the credit. You can take the credit in college. It's not the end of the day. So I try to explain that to a lot of my friends that were, stressing out over all these things. How about you guys? How did you deal with AP exams and just exams in general?
I think like you were saying is being and exactly what you were saying is making mindful decisions and understanding that if I didn't know it an hour ago, I'm not going to know it an hour from now. And I have to put myself first. And I feel like finding the value in yourself and not putting value on if you pass those tests or not was kind of how my mentality was, at least for those last exams, because I was stressing so much in the beginning on how I was going to handle all the different stresses of all the applications and actually getting in and all the tests and finding out my situation of, I had, it wasn't the situation I wanted to be in at the time. So figuring out that was hard. So I just had to find value in myself rather than stressing about finding value in other places, which I think took a lot of the positive affirmations that we always talk about and just reminding myself that I am enough, I am okay, I am good, I am great, I'm the captain of my own ship. Like all the different affirmations that we always talk about, I constantly have to remind myself about them and setting reminders to tell yourself different ones and doing different challenges. So that is definitely one of the things. I know Hillary as well. She definitely does different things than I do. So
Yeah, I am the captain of my own ship is definitely one of the greatest affirmations we can use whenever we're feeling down. It really is all about like making your own decisions, being mindful about them. And I feel like for all of us, like especially our last year, we're already figuring out so many stuff, like worrying about whether colleges accepted us or worrying about what's going to come next and like how many APs I'm going to be passing or whatnot. It really is all about also finding time to put yourself first. And we all did at some point. We all did. There was at least one AP that we all knew we weren't gonna put the time into because it was too hard, and like I wanna, have time for myself too. I'm not gonna like lack off, but also not gonna like go fully in, because sometimes if you don't take time to yourself, it can be a lot more detrimental in the short term or even in the long term. So it really is all about putting yourself first, to be honest. And the affirmations do help a lot when you're like feeling down specifically. And yes, I do agree with Bianca. Like it is really heartbreaking, like seeing also like your friends worrying about like, oh, like things went wrong, like my college didn't accept me. And like my AP, like, oh, I'm gonna fail. It's really heartbreaking. So definitely also being there with your friends as a support system and like telling them to just remember their true value is not necessarily lying on their academic validation. It's more so like what's within you, just generally speaking.
What I also feel like helped a lot is the Mindful Me club sessions at school. We were all hearing other people and what they were going through in terms of exams, in terms of passing a class at the end of the year. So that helped a lot because it's like, hey, like we're not alone. I'm not going to beat myself down for a class, my mental health comes first. It's okay if I get a lower grade than I expected, but that means that I get more sleep, that I don't cry over a test, I put myself first. So I feel like that helped a lot, knowing that other people were going through the same things, that we were not the only ones. I mean, a whole class of almost 600 students was graduating with us. So it's not that we were the only ones going through that. I'm sure that a lot of students were as well. And I am very thankful I have mindfulness tools. There's a lot of people that do not, it's not that they don't have them, they just don't know about it. um so it's very important to try to put them out there and tell your friend about it, And mindfulness could just be breathing and just taking a deep breath and then just stopping for a second from reality. So I'm happy that you guys understand that and that I have you guys around to spread this to other people, especially in the college process, because let me tell you, it's hard. It's really hard going into college and starting off in a new place, in a new setting. After graduating, I was here at home for about 2 weeks and then I went off to college. I did all the shopping before. I don't know, have you guys done any shopping yet?
I have because I am literally leaving in 2 days. So that's something. I did it like a couple of weeks ago, but I definitely like agree. It's really hectic. Even if I did have more time than you, like obviously because I had the whole summer, but it's genuinely hectic. I have done the shopping and it's just bad. But definitely the mindful tools are a great thing, especially when it came to the club times. It really surprised me, just like being able to see other people like sharing more than what you know them for regularly, because it's not just about us sharing the resources. It's about us like connecting in a completely different way, because when we share these tools, it's not just about, oh, here they are just for yourself. It's also about like being part of each other in some way. It's creating a safe space, especially when we all come together either on a Zoom call or physically. It was honestly amazing, and I felt like it was really heartwarming, like seeing other people, like being able to share their feelings and just share our resources all together. It was really fulfilling in a lot of ways.
One thing for me is I am doing my first year online, so unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wait off a little bit on buying everything for when I do move up to UF in the coming fall, not this fall, of course, but next fall. But I have had other things going on as like getting a full-time job now and working at I would say my first like adultish job now that I'm out of high school. So those stresses along with like getting ready for school and finding the logistics and stuff of how online is going to work, the timing of it and figuring out like getting my job to approve everything. So it's been very hectic in that sense, so just finding my footing and getting my sea legs so I could figure out how I'm going to do everything. And thankfully, like you guys keep saying, it's like those mindfulness tools are just something I could put on when I'm going to sleep that I could just hear right before I just crash, because I've done nothing but run around since 6 in the morning. It's something that's really been helpful in getting me to sleep, getting my puppy to sleep, getting everybody in my house to just go to sleep so we can just wake up and do it the next day.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the fact of being alone in college gives you a little bit of freedom and leeway as to your schedule and how you're gonna do it, but it's also like it's all up to you, you know. It's like you decide when to clean, you decide when to shower, you decide when to do your homework, you decide when to do absolutely everything rather than having your parents or siblings or friends there with you. So it definitely is two different worlds. What do you think about that, Hillary? Okay, we lost Hillary for a quick second. But we are gonna get ready to wrap it up a little bit. Oh, she's back. She's back. Go ahead.
I'm back, guys. I was gonna say something, but we gotta wrap it up, right?
I mean, you can go ahead if you want.
Okay. I was just gonna say that, being able to like have the resources and like create the bonds is also really important with like everything you guys just said before I had the little technical issue. Um, you're gonna be out there alone, and like knowing that these
We lost her there again, but I think that what she is trying to say is, being in college alone in a new different setting, that everybody starting a new chapter in life,
Yeah.
being able to use mindfulness tools, and connecting with mindfulness to overcome these situations that might turn into challenges sometimes. So we will be covering more of that in the next episode, that will be out in about a month. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Hillary. Thank you, Tatiana. For more resources, podcasts, meditations, and school tools, please visit mindfulme.org, and that's mindful with two L's. See you guys next month.
Have a good
Bye
day.
bye. Thank you guys.